based upon what came back into the Perplexity little box there, that was going to identify whether you could be a pay-per-click person or not. So it's like, okay, Sean's company is definitely answering the right question. And if he gives us $5 a click, we're now going to put him as a footnote underneath that. I thought that was a very interesting way to go about it, where you clearly know the top answer is AI. That's your answer. But if you're looking for a little bit more information, here's a sponsor link down below that will answer your question. And that apparently was Perplexity's pay-per-click model. I've not seen it roll out yet, but I think it's ingenious, and that's something I would recommend my clients do. I like that.
I hear you. I'm literally just checking on the screen here, and I just want to just look into it. I think it's a very interesting topic, because the pay-to-play model for LLMs right now is just non-existent, and I'm curious to see how fast they're going to find out. I'm asking for another prediction, over or under. ChatGPT brings on advertisements on the platform 6 months, over or under?
Under.
Yeah.
Under. Yeah, I think once they rolled out Pulse, that was it. Pulse is the next step up, is advertising, no doubt.
Okay, cool. Well, on Perplexity, what I'm reading here is, let's see, what was the paragraph?
I don't know. They're doing testing, advertising testing right now, right? Perplexity, I think, is where they are. So large brands, I think, are tested.
What they're saying is that they would essentially take, they'd have blocked keywords. So if somebody searches for a specific topic that is related to a keyword, they would take that, they would identify it, and then you as an advertiser could bid towards it. So we would see an essential similarity to the Google, I would say, like broad match a modifier when it comes to the PPC model, where you can search for a specific keyword. And from there, if that keyword is either mentioned in the user's query or is related to it in a contextual window, they will show up your ad. So we're going to solving a question and at the same time proposing an advertisement as well. And I believe that might be a very good model on how also ChatGPT will start doing this. I think that's very certain.
You know, the one thing to take away though, this is something, and somebody told me this, and I agree. Don't be too sure that these models are going to use advertising. And this is one of the things in the investment community that I know that they talk about. Like, when you do see the power of ChatGPT, and when you realize that agents are right around the corner, I know we have some versions of agents right now, but they're not the real agents that we're all going to be seeing in about a year or two. And when you see the power of that being able to do somebody's job, the question is are you willing to pay $25,000 for that license a year to let somebody do that? Of course you are, because that job is a $150,000 a year job. So they made a great point where the person posed the thing like, what if advertising, they don't care about it? What if it's like, that's irrelevant to them? It's a product that you have to have. Like, think about Apple. How much does Apple lean on advertising? What is a part of their revenue? Almost nothing. Some, I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a minute. But when you think about that, so why couldn't ChatGPT be a cloud-based type product where people are paying for it and you're buying the wearables and you're doing this and you're doing that? And Apple, look at the money they're making, right? So as advertisers, we immediately are like, well, they're going to go to advertising. Well, what if they don't? What if the business model is completely been up? If we're saying the workforce is going to be upended, how we're working is going to be upended, well, then the business model and how you make money could be completely upended as well. So I think we have to be open to that as well. So I do caution some people when they're like, well, advertising's coming. I agree. What if it doesn't? So that's the kind of thing I'm thinking about, and it changes the game a little.
I wonder whether the benefits of having an advertise-driven company will make these companies pivot in a specific way that might not be the best for the end user, right? We're talking about wearables, for example. If they can't figure out the way to incorporate an advertisement structure and make money there, they are now subject to getting their money through other means, right? Whether it is being the best model for coding and maybe releasing more coding tools, whether it is subscriptions, because that pendant might act like a friend, for example. It might have its own character, and based on that, it get to know you more and better. And those types of services. And the question is, how big is the TAM, right? I mean, I can estimate ChatGPT to be 3-4 billion people using it on a daily basis, and if they get big enough and have the coordination for it. I'm going to give you a choice here. Last topic. Are we going to talk about how AI is going to change the industry of people working and the impact it's going to have on employment? Or are we going to talk about something new that happened just recently where Friend.com, we were talking about wearables, Friend.com just did the biggest New York City metro ad buy. And Friend.com is a pendant where you literally wear it here. It listens on everything that you're doing in your day, and it's your friend essentially. What would you like to you finish off with?
Wow, that's a. I love to talk about the products, but I guess the more hot topic is everybody's more worried about their jobs. So they can buy, but that product is that's interesting.
I'm gonna say one thing about that friend, that little pendant thing is like the one thing that really I'm curious about is whether or not, like, imagine sitting with your friends, right? I just had a session with my guys on Friday. We were just chilling, and the things we discussed are personal to us, and nobody puts their phone on the table. It's like, hey, I'm going to record this, but these pendants are always on. So that's the thing that, and I think, yes, people are afraid of their jobs, but I feel like this is something where I was like, this is going to happen, and this is kind of terrifying. And how does this open you up to any kind of situations, whether it's personal, whether it's a business? It can have a significant impact if the world just gets recorded everywhere, essentially. And that's one of the things. And then the second thing is, do we really need to get people even more on board to being, romantically involved, essentially, or dependent on dependent on AI for their happiness, their health? I just feel like that's so. I'm really. It scares me to think about people walking around with that and just, yeah,